17 was a very productive year for us. We're coming out of a pretty big transformation for TMX. And it's really the third year of execution of change. I've been there about 3.5 years. And we've switched from an infrastructure focus to really an intellectual property, technology, and solutions focus. And what worked for us in 17 is, towards the end of the year, we completed a pretty major transaction for us with Trayport in the UK, and that actually moved our entire balance of revenue and types of revenue from a 30% recurring revenue to a 52% recurring revenue. So as a quote exchange group, the goal really is to be a solutions provider that runs markets, and we took a big leap there. It moved our international or non-Canadian income to like 37%, about 30%, and our data and analytics revenue 37%. So it was really a big step in the transformation of what we were trying to do with looking at solutions, intellectual property driven. We still run markets, obviously, and have an exchange part of our business, but now you've got 52% of that business is actually recurring revenue. So it was a big change for us. So the whole idea was going into 16, we wanted to turn around declining organic revenue and declining profitability, and we did. We left 16 with record earnings, record profits, and the whole premise was, with the right strategy, the underlying assets are so strong, right, that we can turn this around. It's such a strong business. Let's get the right strategy. Let's focus on clients. Let's focus on markets, and we did. So 17 then was the culmination of that. You get the organization in the right place, and now you start to think about growth. And Trayport came along and it accelerated what had been a plan that we thought would take another 2 or 3 years, but got us there quickly. One of the biggest focuses for us is to help deliver capital to small growth companies. That's a big one. If you look at companies in particular from 5 to 50 million, there's a real challenge for these companies to find growth capital. In particular, though, in a public model. So where we're unique is we look at ourselves as a public venture model. And you can do things in our ecosystem that you can't do other places in the world. You can be a much smaller company than in the US or even in the UK and raise public money. So we sit, the way I like to think about it is right in the center of what a traditional exchange has been, what public venture money has been, or even angel investors, and peer-to-peer or crowdfunding. And these things are kind of all coming together, and we sit right in the center of it. So you can look at a company that's got a few million in revenue, but is public and not covered by research. So for us, it's a really unique opportunity for investors to uncover these because it encompasses all of those different pieces. You'd like your investment to be more than a philanthropic endeavor, right? You can actually turn a profit, it's vetted, it's monitored, and you look at a track record, there are 650 companies that started on our venture exchange that are now on the senior exchange. 20% of the TSX Composite Index started on venture. So there's a real track record of companies that have raised money, small, grown, succeeded. Montreal has a stellar historical growth rate. You've got new leaders in there who are all down here with us in Boca. And if you see now the focus around new products, and particularly in the last year and a half or so, you see single stock futures coming, you see more products coming. Later this year, we'll have extended hours because almost, about half that business comes from outside of Canada, particularly Europe first, and then we'll look at Asia. But it's been a growth business now with a renewed focus on new products and new initiatives. And that's why it's one of our 3 really big growth areas. I think when you look at the global landscape, right, there are a couple things that probably, like technology, the hysteria around certain technologies, which you can guess, it shouldn't be a surprise, but unfortunately, I'm old enough to have been through the whole internet, thing, and what's going to happen with that. New technologies come all the time, but you have to understand them. Right? And you can't take, a distributed ledger or a blockchain and digitization of real assets and cryptos and slam them all together. You have to actually step back and understand what the differences are. What we're trying to do, as all, companies are trying to do, is really think about where the world is going, where the market's going, and how do you need to change. I sit here in this position now. I hadn't run exchanges before in my life. I had run businesses, but always focused on the financial markets and the same clients. And I think the key is now to focus on the markets and the clients, not so much what you do internally, but what value do you provide, and how does that need to change based on how your clients are changing. And I think that's got to be part of every business model these days.